Inner child healing isn't about going back and fixing your past. It's about learning how to stop abandoning yourself in the present. And honestly, I really think social media has romanticized healing in a way that can actually keep people stuck. Because we've been taught that healing means endlessly revisiting childhood wounds, constantly analyzing trauma, and trying to become a perfectly healed version of ourselves. But if healing always keeps you focused on what's broken, you never fully step into your safety, your power, and the wholeness available to you right now. And if you don't change this pattern, you can spend years over identifying with your wounds, staying emotionally exhausted, constantly working on yourself, while never actually feeling at peace within yourself and living a life you deserve. You are constantly always trying to fix something that maybe doesn't need to be fixed anymore. So I remember working with a woman who looked like she had everything together: successful career, highly intelligent, very self aware, deeply spiritual. And she told me, Rita, I've done so much healing work. So why do I still feel anxious all the time? And this is becoming more common than people realize. We live in a culture obsessed with self improvement. People are consuming healing content, trauma content, psychology content, nervous system content. But sometimes we become so focused on identifying what's wrong with us that we forget to actually live our lives. And what I gently reflected back to her was this: you don't need to keep proving that your pain was valid, because somewhere along the way, healing became her identity. She knew every wound, every trigger, every attachment style, every trauma response, but she still didn't need to feel safe. She still didn't feel safe resting. She still felt guilty slowing down. She still struggled to receive love. She still pushed herself beyond exhaustion. And that's when I explained something really important. Awareness alone does not create transformation. It's the start of a transformative breakthrough, but it does not create transformation alone, because you can intellectually understand your childhood and still have a nervous system that's living in survival mode. That changes everything, because now healing is no longer just psychological, it becomes physiological. Your body learns patterns long before your mind makes meaning of them. So if you grew up walking on eggshells, feeling emotionally unsafe, needing to perform for love, suppressing your needs, becoming the strong one, your nervous system adapted to survive that environment. And as adults, many people are still unconsciously living from those same patterns. Not because they're broken, but because the body memorized what survival feels like. Sometimes the inner child isn't screaming. Sometimes she's overworking, people pleasing, overthinking, staying hyper independent, afraid to rest, afraid to disappoint people, especially the ones that she loves around her, afraid to be too much. And that's why healing cannot just be intellectual, because your body needs a new experience, not just a new explanation. Stop treating your inner child like a problem to solve. One of the biggest shifts you can make is this: your inner child is not broken. She adapted intelligently. That changes the entire lens, because many coping mechanisms that people shame themselves for today were once protective strategies. People pleasing may have protected connection. Perfectionism may have protected belonging. Hyper independence may have protected disappointment. So instead of asking, "What's wrong with me?" try asking, "What was this pattern trying to protect?" That creates compassion instead of shame. And compassion is far more regulating for a nervous system than self criticism. Learn to create safety in the present moment. This is where breath work becomes incredibly powerful because healing is not only about understanding your emotions, it's about teaching your body you are safe now. Most people are trying to heal while their nervous system is still in chronic stress. So even when life becomes safer in their bodies still anticipate danger. That's why some people can't relax on vacation. Do you know anyone like that? Or feel uncomfortable in stillness, constantly needing that stimulation, or feel anxious when things are finally calm. The nervous system becomes addicted to survival chemistry. And this is why functional breathing matters so much because your breath is one of the fastest ways to communicate safety to your brain and your body. Even now, if you slow your exhale, your heart rate begins to shift. Your muscles will soften. Your nervous system will receive the message, I can let go. And that's why I always say breath work is not just emotional, it's biological. Healing is learning how to stay with yourself by starting to really acknowledge how powerful the breath is. I think this is the deepest part. Real healing is not becoming perfectly untriggered because we are human. We will always get triggered. We will always have those people that trigger us, those things that trigger us, those events that trigger us. So healing is not about becoming or learning how to become untriggered because that's unrealistic. Real healing is staying connected to yourself when discomfort arises, responding differently instead of reacting automatically, not abandoning yourself the moment emotions appear. Because many people were never taught emotional safety, right? We were taught to suppress it, avoid it, distract from it, perform through it. But healing asks something different. It asks, can you stay with your present self without judgment? Can you stay present with yourself without judgment? Can you breathe through the discomfort instead of immediately escaping it? Because remember, these reactions, whether it's anger, or frustration, or just overwhelm, they literally just last about 90 seconds. So within those first 90 to 2 minutes, if we can breathe and not overreact or not react to those emotions, then we can actually offer ourselves some options instead of what we usually go to, our patterns that we have adapted because of our childhood trauma. So, can you offer yourself the compassion you were always seeking from others, or the compassion you often give to others? And that's reparenting, not perfection. It's presence. I think one of the most freeing realizations is this. You do not need to spend your entire life identifying with your wounds in order to honor your healing journey. Let me say that again because it's so powerful. You do not need to spend your entire life identifying with your wounds in order to honor your healing journey. Yes, I agree. Your past matters, and it matters a lot. Your experiences matter. Of course they do. Your pain matters, and yes, it does. But so does your capacity to create safety, your capacity to create joy and connection and peace right now. And maybe the goal was never to become this perfectly healed human being. Is there even such a thing? Maybe the goal is to become more connected, more conscious, more compassionate with yourself. Maybe the goal is to stop abandoning yourself when things do get tough, to stop fighting yourself, to stop seeing yourself as something or someone that needs constant fixing. because healing is not the absence of wounds, it's the presence of self connection. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can say to your inner child is not, I will fix you, but I am here now and I am not leaving you anymore. If this resonates deeply with you, this is exactly the kind of work we explore inside my breathwork experiences. Not just talking about healing, but creating a felt experience of safety, release, reconnection, and regulation with your beautiful, strong body. Because sometimes transformation doesn't happen through more thinking up here. Sometimes it happens through more breathing, one conscious breath at a time, and connecting with our beautiful heart.